today we are going to be talking about how do we go from that bar to this beautifully finished part. You're going to see our jaws come up and over, and I love that sight. Look at that chubby boy. I would not advise grabbing these with your fingers. Hey team, Luke at Practical Machinist. Welcome back for another episode of the Lathe Lab. So the first thing that we do when we're getting ready to process, especially these large bars, we have to put them into manageable pieces. Our CNC lathe takes 4-foot maximum bar ends because of the constraints of the bar feed. So that's what we have to do here. We load up a 12 or 20 or however long bar, and we cut them into 4-foot pieces. Take the 4-foot pieces, load them on this little rack, and then wheel them over to the lathe where we're about to go right now. So this is the machine in question that we are running this on. It is a 3 1/8 inch capacity machine. You can see we have one of the bars in there right now, a 4-foot long, getting ready to be, that's in the magazine, getting ready to be loaded in the channel to run as we do. Here is said machine. Now, when we're looking at this part, we'll bring it up right here. Got a few of these cross holes on it, as you can see, and that is done by live tooling. We are doing this all on one machine, no secondary milling operations. So you can see one of the drills back there, and we're gonna watch that cycle run, but I just wanted to show you the machine right away. It's a 3 1/8 inch maximum capacity through our draw tube. So we got our 4-foot machine, our 4-foot bar in the draw tube, stick it out here, machine it, and then we transfer on these big, beautiful jaws and machine the other end. And so you could get a better view of our live tool setup. Top tools are spot, drill, and those are what do those cross holes you saw a moment ago. Now, one of the cooler tools that we have in this job is this honker of a boring bar. Look at that chubby boy. And that is what does our finished bore through the main side. For perspective, this is a CNMG 430, and that is a big boring bar. The reason we use a boring bar that large, obviously because we need it, it helps to prevent chatter, AKA deflection, during the machining process. So now, let's see if we can look at that cycle, dry run with no material. Now we're going to talk a little bit about what we call our order of operations, or OPO, or OOO, or OOP, or something like that. So the first thing that we do is we feed out, but we feed out only halfway. And then we take, remember that big, chubby, honking boring bar? We take that sucker and we start boring while we're rough turning. And you can go back a couple frames to see those tools at the same time. And then we bore, turn, then it dwells, then we come back and finish bore and finish turn at the same time. That helps us to maintain our rigidity of the workpiece itself. That's a kind of a thin wall. Then we come up with those big, beautiful aluminum jaws, grab the part, pull out, cut off, Then on the sub side, we do the same thing. We rough turn, and then we finish turn, but we finish back turning, so our chips go off. That's with our lower turret, and then we bore this sub side bore. You can see the little step in there. Then we come with our upper turret, spot all these holes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 holes we spot, and then we come through and do the drills. Then that's it. Now we have a couple M00s in there. M00 in the programming world means mandatory stop, as opposed to M01, which is an optional stop that you have to have the optional stop button engaged. When a program sees an M00, boom, it's going to stop. We have them timed to stop M00 because of chips. This material, DOM tubing, any of you guys out there that have ran DOM, it can be a pain to break a chip, especially with this, because we do not have a lot of material per side allowed because of the way the tube comes in from our customer. So DOM tubing, tough to break a chip. Instead of sitting there trying to break it, we put an M00, pull the chips out, then transfer. So what I want to show you now, we're going to show what that looks like as it feeds out. But unfortunately, we can't run this through dry. I fear my tools won't make it. And if I pop my camera in, and while we're machining with the coolant on, there's going to be a tsunami. We're not going to see anything. Let's check it out. I stopped that right before it cut because I didn't think my tools are going to make it, not just because the DOM tubing, the chips, the tubing, so on and so forth. But when it gets ready to transfer, I'm going to open the door, pop my camera in. We're going to watch it transfer and see what it does. So this is what it looks like right before the cutoff. Sticking out halfway, and now we're going to transfer. You're going to see our jaws come up and over, and I love that sight. We're going to clamp the sub. We're going to open the main. We're going to draw it back. Now I got to get my camera out of the machine or we will take a bath. And now this is what it looks like in the sub-spindle. Machine is off. We would now come with our turning tool, rough and finish turn, boring bar, rough and finish bore, and then our live tools would come and do those live features on the sub. So let's run that, pop it out. So this is what the window normally looks like when it's running. Imagine with my camera or phone inside there, we wouldn't be able to see anything. So now our cycle is done. You can see our part there, finished. We're gonna open the jaws. And what I want you to take a look at here is those gnarly chips. And DOM can be rough. And I would not advise grabbing these with your fingers. Look at those birds' nest of a chip, but we have it manageable. We wouldn't be able to run this on continuous anyways. It's like one after another, 12.5 inches long, and it would not fit into our parts catcher. So we have to run them one at a time. But now that's done. Complete part, bada bing, bada boom. So hey team, there you have it. That is how we went from 20-foot long tube to finished part. Now granted, I shouldn't say exactly finished. We got a little hand deburring we have to do there, but the operator does it while we're there. Question I pose, what do you think the cycle time is from button to button? Not a complicated part. There are some tight dimensions on here. I'm not going to say what, but There are some tight tolerances. I wanted to give a cool little rundown because I think that's awesome to see 20-foot bar to 12.5-inch part. What's our layout? What's the machine? And look at a little bit more of the machining. I wish I could have got it in there, but I tried and it was just chips and smoke and coolant everywhere. We wouldn't have been able to see much, but you got a good idea of how we go from bar to part. So thank you for watching. Once again, this is Luke, a Practical Machinist. Another episode of the Lathe Lab. Like, subscribe, follow the channel. Loads of great creators there. Find us on Instagram, always active there also. You can find me at Crusader Machining on YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, and Instagram. Thank you for watching, and we will catch you next time.